room and saw her. She wore a low-cut velvet black dress, showing just enough cleavage to be provocative, without looking slutty. Their eyes met, and for a brief moment he lost himself, feeling he could see into her soul. She might be the one, he thought, as he got up and made his way towards her. Unfortunately, she was looking at the Latin guy at the next table, who also got up at the same time. He collided with the Latin guy and fell, knocking his drink over and spilling beer everywhere. She smiled. Maybe she liked all the attention.
She did.
While the Latin guy was busy trying to clean all the beer off his clothes, Steve used the opportunity to make his way towards her.
No, Steve!
No, Steve!
He reached her and smiled. She smiled back. And he said, "Do you come here often?" And she said, "I won't come here again if you use cheesy lines like that."
It's not hard to get me to come anywhere.
Oops, let me start again. I'm Steve. And I'm Kate. A few drinks later, Steve asked Kate, "Do you want to get out of here?" And Kate said, "Sure." She left immediately, and he had to run to keep up. Once on the street, he hailed a taxi. He opened the door to the taxi for her, but after too many beers, his balance wasn't great, and he fell forward into the taxi, causing the door to slam after him. The taxi promptly took off, as New York taxis do, and she was left waiting on the street with a bemused expression on her face. He got the taxi driver to turn around and came back to fetch her. And she said, "Did you forget about me already?" They laughed, and he gave directions to his Manhattan penthouse. Being close to her in the taxi was intoxicating, not that he wasn't already intoxicated from the beer. Finally, they reached the penthouse. He unlocked the door and then pushed her against the wall. And she said, "Can I go to the loo first?" He smiled and put on some relaxing music. When she came back, he said, "Do you know Tantra?" And she said, "Oh, no, not one of those spiritual types. Can't we just fuck?" He laughed and pushed her against the wall again. And this time she responded by kissing him squarely on the mouth. They began to kiss deeply. The feel of her warm, wet tongue was arousing him, and he was getting hard.
Whoa!
That one was for Polly.
Oh, I hope there's more of it later. So good.
While they were kissing passionately, he moved his hands down to her chest and began to place his hand under her jacket. Unfortunately, it was a cold winter's night, and she was wearing quite a few layers. He then managed to get his hand under her jumper, only to find another long-sleeve top covering another top. Eventually, he managed to make his way under her top and to try to get his hand under her bra. The bra was tight, and he gave up and said finally, "Let's go to the bedroom." "Yes," she said breathlessly. "Do you want me to bring up some champagne?" he said. "Yes," she answered. Once they were in the bedroom, he opened the champagne bottle. But unfortunately, he was still a little intoxicated from both the beer and kissing her, and he lost control of the cork, and it flew out of the bottle, bounced on the penthouse window, and then hit her squarely on the head. She was knocked out cold. Eventually she came to after a few minutes and asked what happened, looking very dazed. And he explained what happened apologetically. Finally she forgave him and they went back to kissing again on the plush silk sheets. This time he managed to get her bra off and began to trace circles around her breasts and her nipples. Then he began to gently suck on one of her nipples, causing her to moan. That's also the poly. And now he said, I am going to teach you about Tantra. Just then, there was a noise at the front door which sounded like someone was unlocking the door from the outside. She looked at him questioningly, and he also looked confused. And then a voice called out, Honey, I'm home early from Greece.
Oh, triggers.
Wow, she said, you sure have a weird idea about Tantra.
Oh,